We all think $1 can't change much. It feels small, easy to lose, easy to forget. But for a man who had nothing left, it wasn't just money. It was his last lifeline. One crumpled dollar, one strange book, one impossible choice that rewrote his entire future. And what he found inside that book changed everything. This is his story. The city had turned cold. Not just the weather, the people too. No one met his eyes anymore. No one said his name. He sat on a broken sidewalk with a cardboard sign, his hood soaked through, hands trembling against the wind. "Anything helps," the sign said. Most days, nothing came. His name was Mason, and he wasn't always like this. Once, there was an apartment, a steady job, warm lights, laughter through thin walls. But the world has a way of slipping, and when it slipped, it dragged him under. Now, he had only $1 left, a single tired dollar bill. Soft from too many pockets and too many prayers. Not enough for food, not enough for a bed, barely enough for hope. And then, something caught his eye. Through the blur of rain, he saw color, a forgotten bookstall tucked between a pawn shop and an empty bakery. Dust clung to the shelves like cobwebs. Old covers sagged, faded by the sun. And yet, something about it pulled him closer, like it was waiting for him. His eyes landed on a thin paperback. Its title was almost gone from the spine, but it felt like it was calling. He held out his last dollar. "Just this," he whispered. The shopkeeper didn't smile, he just nodded. And Mason walked away, holding nothing but paper and a small piece of hope. That night, under a humming streetlight, he opened the book, and something strange happened. It wasn't about money, it wasn't about luck. It was about a man who had lost everything and started rebuilding his life by doing one small, brave thing every day. Mason read until his fingers were numb from the cold. Line after line felt like they were written for him. And here's the part most people never talk about. Sometimes, the smallest spark just needs silence to catch fire. The next morning, Mason did something he hadn't done in months. He stood up, not just from the sidewalk, from despair. He began picking up trash on the corner where he slept. Just something. People stared, some smiled, most walked past. But he kept doing it, day after day, until one morning a woman in a gray coat stopped, briefcase in hand, eyes curious. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. Mason looked up and said, "Because if I can't change my life today, I can at least change this corner." She smiled and handed him a card. What he didn't know was that this moment would lead to something bigger. 2 weeks later, she called. She offered him a part-time job sweeping the floors at her office. It wasn't much money, but to Mason, it was sunlight breaking through dark clouds. He showed up early, stayed late, and every night he read that same book again. The pages were soft from use. The words had become part of him. One line stuck in his heart like glue. "Discipline is just love for your future self." He began waking up at dawn, washing up in public restrooms, saving every spare coin. He spoke less, worked more, until the company's CEO noticed him, noticed how the floors always shined, how Mason greeted people with kindness, how he kept working even when no one was watching. One afternoon, the CEO stopped him. "What did you do before this?" he asked. Mason hesitated. "Lost," he said. The man nodded, then handed him an envelope. Inside was a scholarship for night classes, business courses, and a note, "I see something in you that most people never see in themselves." Night classes turned into long hours turned into new ideas turned into plans. Within 1 year, Mason started a small cleaning service. One mop, one bucket, one belief. If he gave more than he got, one day he'd get more than he gave. Clients came, then more and more. He rented a small apartment, bought a real bed, and on the wall above it he framed the old book. Every morning he whispered the same words from it. Never let a day end without doing one small brave thing. Years passed. One day, standing in the glass office of his own company, Mason watched his team laughing in the break room. He saw sunlight on polished floors. He heard his name echo down bright halls. He felt seen, all from $1. One choice, one book. And maybe that's where you are right now, holding your last dollar of hope, thinking it's too small to matter. But here's the truth. What seems small today might be the seed of your future. So if you're standing at rock bottom, remember Mason. He didn't wait for the world to change. He changed one tiny thing, and the world followed. Because sometimes your life doesn't need a miracle. It just needs a spark. One spark to remind you who you are. Because that $1 didn't just buy a book, it bought back his belief. And belief can move the world.